yeah, I just decided to use this platform because therapy is expensive and I can't afford it. So we're gonna just use this. I don't have any notes. I'm empty-handed. I just wanted to sit and talk because, guys, something triggered me this morning. Something triggered me last night. And it was the news of it. It's been something that's been like not bothering me intensely, but just, it's been on my mind, in the back of my thoughts, I wonder this. So let's just start from the beginning. There's this comedy person that I really, really like. What was this? There's this person that I really like in comedy. His name is Kev on Stage. And my like for him started because I started watching ADD. I don't know if you know that whole media digital marketing company. But they're on YouTube and they have a comedy segment, and they make skits, and they had this show called Great Taste, and there are a bunch of comedians in there, and Kev on Stage is one of them, and Doughboy is another one of them. Those are just some podcasters / comedians I watch. Anyway, the long story short is that one of them, he was an openly speaking alcoholic. He talks about it all the time. He talked about his sobriety and how it has been 3 years, and he's just somebody that I really looked up to. I really look up to still. And because I just loved his transparency, and I thought that his story was beautiful. And he'd been through the trenches, people. The trenches he had been through. Like, I think they were about to fire. I think he'd been to rehab like 2 times. One time, like, it got raided by the FBI because of some fraudulent, like, activities or something, and then so he had to leave forcibly, and then he went back again in order to save his job. You should just watch it. Anyway, the point is that the story was very inspiring, right, to say the least. And I love their podcast also. I love comedy, and I've been following them for years. So anyway, in the beginning of quarantine, which has been so terrible, he kind of took a break from content, and I don't know if I'm rambling about this too long. I don't really know, but I'm just going to keep going because I got to tell the story. I got to get it off my chest. Even if I never post this video, I got to get it off my chest. Seems like a whole bunch of nothing, but it really isn't. It triggered. So he, what was I saying? Damn, Doughboy. What was I saying? Anyway, so I like this guy a lot, right? The point is I like him. And over the quarantine, unfortunately, that was a really hard time for a lot of people, and I'm sure he had some other shit going on too that was like on his mind and in his life and all that crap. But I'm sure that like sobriety and quarantine must have been super, super difficult, especially being a creator and having all this pressure on you and all that kind of crap, and your job changing and all that stuff. I'm sure it was a lot of pressure. So he just kind of like dropped off and disappeared from content making. He stopped doing this podcast that he was doing with the Come on Stage guy that I really like. And what else? And other forms of content that he was doing with All Deaf and all that kind of stuff. And I said, I'm sure everybody was thinking it. Like, everyone in the comments and stuff was like thinking like, oh God, I hope it's not, I hope he didn't relapse. And I thought about it too, because I also struggle with like with overeating and food addiction and those issues. So I just was thinking, I was trying to stay strong during that time, and I was just like, man, I can't even imagine what it's like for him right now. So I just found out last night that he did indeed relapse. And it just, I don't know why it just hit me hard. I was just reading the comments. Everybody was it was the comments that really that story really got me, but I feel like deep down I kind of like knew, and I was just waiting to hear it. And I think that I was afraid to hear it because then I would have to face my own issues. And the one thing with him is that he never did therapy. That's the one thing. He was never into therapy. And, or maybe he said he was going to do it, but never actually ended up doing it. I don't know his life. I'm talking like I know this nigga's life, top to bottom. I don't. So I don't know what he did on his personal time, but he's very transparent, and he never mentioned that he was doing therapy, and that's something I think he would say. So, for me, I feel like I think I can control my own food issues when I can't. I cannot do it by myself. I need help. And I think that that's something that I shouldn't be afraid to ask for help and go to a therapist, because I now see, like, somebody who was 3 years sober, if you don't deal with that underlying issue and something like quarantine, something like fucking COVID-19, a whole pandemic, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube anymore, a whole like disease comes and like locks everything up and locks everything down and stops your business, and all this shit happens, and you have to stay home. You have to stay home now, and I feel like that's a lot to deal with. And then to manage sobriety on top of that, that's a lot to deal with. Some people wouldn't consider food addiction or overeating as a addiction, but it is, and you should look it up. So I'm not gonna debate on that. This is about my emotions right now, not debating with people who are ignorant. So yeah, that just sent me, I wouldn't say spiral, not really spiral, just really like, I'm really just looking into my life. I'm not really sad. I'm more like, damn, I'm sad for him. Because he's kind of in the mindset, so I didn't even say all this. He's right now, like, he's kind of in that mindset, like, maybe I can just deal with it in moderation, that kind of thing. And that's just a phase of denial that you go through when you're trying to kick something. So I feel bad that he's in that state right now, but I'm sure that he will ascend. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to try to live with my eating things. I'm a vegan, yes, but like sometimes binge eating you can still do that on a vegan diet. You can still eat bullshit on a vegan diet. So I feel like I just feel like I shouldn't keep trying to deal with it myself, and I should probably talk to a therapist about depression and anxiety and what my triggers are and the reason why I feel that way and blah, 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 blah. So that was really it. I just wanted to talk about that. I may not really post this, honestly. I just needed to vent. And if I do post this, which I probably will, and if by the miracles of the universe and the alignment of the stars all come together at once and pigs fly and all that shit, and he or somebody who watches him also sees this video and somehow it gets, I just want to say, I don't know why I said all that. I just want to say that, like, stay strong, brother, man. Stay strong. Don't let this shit, get the best of you. Don't let it take over your life. And you need help. Not in like a rude way. Like you need to ask for help. Like you can't do it on your own. It's impossible. I've been trying to do that for 27 years and I'm failing. Like I'll do good for a while and then I'll fall off. Do good for a while and then I'll fall off. But I've never had like 5, 10, much less 2, 3 years consistent of like good eating, exercise, that kind of thing. And I know a lot of people are like, nobody has that, but my lows are low. That's all I'll say. My lows aren't regular. My lows are low and they end in like just... I've gained a lot of weight in a very short amount of time before. Like a crazy amount of weight in like 3-4 weeks. Where like a visibly like, Asia? Just because I just ate like crazy for 2 months. It's crazy. Girl, I could talk for hours. We all have problems, but Yeah. So, that's all. Have a great day, guys. This was helpful. I feel that was cathartic.